It's gonna be hard. This shit is not easy. When it's your time, kill that shit. What's up, you guys? It's your girl Bianca B, and welcome to my channel. If you are new, make sure you guys check out my celebrity interviews, vlogs, and makeup tutorials. So today we are talking about career. I decided to do this video because a lot of people ask me, what do you do? If you go to my Instagram, people are like, what do you do? Like, you do so many different things. And I have been blessed enough. I'm one of those people that I feel like we're all multi-talented in so many different things. And some of us utilize all of our talent, and some do not. So I kind of just wanted to give some tips, and like, if you feel like you're confused on like what's your purpose, I'm telling you, it's gonna be okay. So let's get into it. So backstory, I'm from Detroit. I always tell people this, I feel like I say it in every video, but I started out as a trained dancer at the age of 7. So I did ballet, tap, jazz, hip hop, whatever. I competed, and I went to a school called Motor City Dance Factory. And we got the opportunity to go on tour. I was like 12 years old for the BET Teens of Comedy Tour. And once I went on tour at such a young age, we toured behind with Little JJ, Brandon T. Jackson, Isaiah Kelly, and a couple of other good kid comedians. In high school, I started kind of just loving social media. Like, I love everything about social media. I love the positivity of social media. And long story short, I created this blog. It was called Harmony.com, and I eventually changed it to BiancaB.com. And long story short, I used to interview independent artists and like blog about the things that were going on in entertainment. And I was inspired by TMZ and Nicole Bitchie, which is now XO Nicole. And I just love their format of how they blogged. And back then, a lot of people were not blogging. It was so new. This is when Twitter came out. And I fell in love with interviewing people, and which is crazy. So after that, it was time for me to decide on school. And my mom was like, well, you like editing, but I didn't know how to use a camera. So we looked at schools, and I always knew I wanted to be in LA. Like, I manifested me being in LA. Like, it was a goal of mine at a really young age. So I ended up going to school. I went to college, and I moved to LA, and I busted my ass. Like, you can tell me shit. College Bianca was so focused and so determined to be, at the time, famous. I wanted to be famous. But I realized, like, once I got in my career, like, I just want to give and just entertain, but not be famous. So I was in school, and I had that blog, and I started working on a show called Pensado's Place. My teacher, Gerbson, he believes in me, and he said that I think that you will be an amazing producer. I knew nothing about live TV. I knew nothing about producing. Although I was in film school, I was kind of figuring out my way of what I really wanted to do. I knew that I genuinely, behind the scenes, loved casting. And so he was like, you'll be a dope producer. So he gave me an opportunity to be a line producer for Pensado's Place. And that's when I realized, oh my God, like, I'm learning everything about interviewing people and the format of a show. So I decided to create my own show, Bianca B Show, which is my YouTube channel. And it blew up. Like, it was literally a fucking idea. I grabbed students and people that I knew. My roommate helped me, and I decided to start interviewing people, which is how I gained my following on Instagram. I didn't look at it as hosting. It wasn't like I was trying to be a host, because I have a strong accent, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just genuinely loved being around successful people and learning how they got successful. Like, that was the whole concept of my show, was to, okay, you're a celebrity stylist, but how did you get here? So that was like the whole goal of Bianca B Show. So I created it, met so many publicists, met so many celebrities, And I started doing red carpets. I hate red carpets. I always tell people this. I'm not a fan of red carpets. I don't like a lot of people. Like, I'm a one-on-one type of person. And I created the show, but I was still in college. So I had to get an internship. So my very big internship was the Oprah Winfrey Network. It was so crazy because January of 2014 on my vision board, I said that one day I would work for Oprah. And then in April 2014, I ended up getting the job as an intern for the Oprah Winfrey Network, which was like the best job ever. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed, like, it was an amazing accomplishment for me. For that to be my first internship, I was like, oh shit. Although I never met Oprah, but I was like, oh my God, this is, like, I manifested this. So after that, I still had 2 more years of college. So I ended up, my last internship was TMZ. And if you go back to what I said, TMZ was the reason why I started blogging. See how that lined up? So I ended up working there as an intern. And then after college, I got a job at a company called 51 Minds. 51 Minds created a lot of reality TV shows, and so they had a pilot, which I didn't know what pilot meant until I was in it. So I ended up working there as a PA, and I was so excited. I loved making my weekly pay, okay? Working there and getting unemployment, I realized, you know, this is a cutthroat industry. So after that show, that same boss was working on a segment, and he wanted me to come and help, and I did. It was an amazing experience. Then I ended up working at E! News. I basically filled in for someone at E! News because the person was pregnant, so I just filled in as a PA. And then after that, I took 2 years off of film. I realized that it was just so inconsistent for me, and I had no control over my money and over my life. And I always tell people this, that film is a very hard industry because you never know when a show is going to end, and you always have to have the mindset that this is temporary, this is not permanent, unless you work in like a camera person or a editor. Those are jobs where people always need those things. But as a producer, there's so many producers in the world, and sometimes you can get extremely discouraged, and it's a discouraging industry. Even if you want to be in front of the camera as an actor or a host, it's a lot of politics behind entertainment, so you have to make sure that you're mentally prepared. So I took like 2 years off, and then I got an opportunity. My friend that I met at E! It's crazy how life happens. So my friend that I met at E! She was like, oh, we're doing a fashion segment at Steve Harvey show. So I ended up doing that in 2017, which I vlogged on here, if you've been following me. And I vlogged that, and I told her if any positions came up, let me know. So once again, I took 2 years off. During those 2 years, I did brand ambassador work. So I worked for Stella Artois, I worked for Nescafe, I worked with Nespresso, I worked for Bud Light, I did the tennis thing, the tennis match thing, what else? I did so many brand ambassador jobs, and brand ambassador work is so dope because you meet so many people and you get paid really well when there's so many events. Coachella, like brand ambassador work, if you're in LA, I feel like that is something you have to, like if you want to side hustle and you want to make more money, brand ambassador work put a lot of money in my pocket. So it's 2019, my same friend from E, she's like, no, from Steve, she's like, yo, like we need a PA, like tomorrow type of thing. She was like, send me your resume. So I sent her my resume, ended up getting a job, and then I worked on a Steve Harvey show for a month when he was with NBC. And that was probably the best experience in my life. Although I was there for a month, I always go back to that show because it was a very pivotal, not only manifestation, but I love the environment, I love the diversity of the crew. It was just a dope vibe to be around, and I felt like that was a very pivotal moment in my life. And also, if you look at some of my past videos, I will always have this purple board behind me, and Steve Harvey was like on the board. He was somebody that I wanted to work for. I had no personal relationship with him, but to say that I was a PA for his show was probably the most pivotal moment in my career. And once again, law of attraction, who you meet, relationships, those are so important. And I always tell people that if you want to be in entertainment, relationships are important. And I'm glad that I met at least one person that I gravitated towards to in each job, and it kind of led me to where I am now. So the show wrapped, which I was so upset because I really loved that show. It was a really good show. And so he had like a conference. I went to the conference, and I ended up, you know, meeting the lawyer of the show, and me and her, we had interacted here and there when I was working on the show, because like I said, I was there for a month. I was basically filling in until the finale. And then I ended up, she was like, oh, you know, like, what do you want to do next, and all these things. And I found out about Mel Robbins, and I loved Mel Robbins' brand. I loved what she talked about. I liked her book, and it was a talk show that I wanted to work on. I knew that it was in New York, and I was ready for a change because I had already been in LA for 8 years, and I had established myself and my name, and I just wanted to grow and elevate. So long story short, ended up connecting with her. She was like, oh, I know the EP of that show. Send me your resume. I'm going to try to get you a job there. She's like, you know it's in New York, right? And I was like, yeah, I have family there. I didn't have family there. So then I got the job, and I ended up moving to New York for the first time. And then I worked there. That was probably... That job taught me a lot as a woman. It taught me a lot about relationships. It taught me a lot about mental health. It taught me work ethic. New York people work very differently than in LA. Their work ethic is just intense, and I learned a lot as a film producer working for that show. I was trained under someone who's an amazing producer, and it was like Emmy Award producers on that show, and I learned so much from all the producers. And I have to say, like, that show was also a pivotal moment in my life. Then I ended up working for Quibi for a month, and then I got the opportunity to work for Nick Cannon's show. And we ended up, because it was supposed to launch in 2020, which Nick Cannon's show I did manifest as well. So before I left, when Mel Robbins ended, and then it was time for me to fly to LA for the Game Network, I wrote in my manifestation journal, I said, I'm going to be an associate producer for the Nick Cannon talk show. I wrote this like March 15th, 2020. Fast forward to May 2020, the producer that I was under at the previous show, she was like, I know you want to work for Nick Cannon's show. Give me your resume and I'll send it to the EP. Ended up getting the job, and we were supposed to start filming in August 2020, but then it got pushed back a year. Like 2020 was just crazy. So 2021, I ended up taking the job and coming back to New York. And I say this to say that I want you guys to take these 5 tips. If you want to be in entertainment and you want to be successful. This is just in general. 5 things that I learned. Stay humble. I have been through a lot. A lot of I'm not gonna cry in this video. I'm not gonna do it. Emotional but stay humble. Always have multiple sources of income, because you never know. I was always humble. I was always humble enough to take opportunities. And sorry, I can't believe I'm crying. I was always able to, even when I took brand ambassador work, I humbled myself. Because although you can be around all these successful people, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are, be humble enough to take opportunities. Even if it's less pay, even if it's, you know, change of locations, like, humble yourself. Okay, we are back. The second tip is manifestation is real. You can write everything I've written down from 16 until 28 I've gotten. And from putting Oprah on my vision board in 2014 and getting the job to work for her company just a couple of months later, having Steve Harvey on my vision board and not only encountering with him through that one segment, but working on his show, writing down that I was gonna move to New York and doing that, writing down that I was gonna work for Nick Cannon and got it. Manifestation is real, bro. Like, God has been so good to me. Sorry, I can't believe I'm crying. Okay, this is raw. The third thing is save your fucking money. I wish I would have did better at that. The fourth thing is, it's gonna be hard. This shit is not easy. Yeah, that's the fourth thing. This shit is hard. You have to have tough skin. Like, you have to. Like, and the fifth thing is, when it's your time, kill that shit. When it's your time, kill that shit. Like, walk into every room being yourself. Don't, I know a lot of us try to impress people, be a teacher's pet, but go in there being yourself. Every opportunity I've gotten, it's by being myself. Not everybody ain't gonna relate to me. Everybody ain't gonna understand me, but I'm good at what I do. I love what I do. I love entertainment. And God got you, and always remember that. Don't get sucked up in the lifestyle, because he will take that shit from you. So go back to that first thing, remain humble, because shit can be taken away from you. And that's all I gotta say. That's been my career journey. And I don't know, it's probably because I'm on my period, but yeah, like, it's been hard. It's not easy. It's not for the fucking weak. But yeah, I can't believe I got on here and fucking cried on the internet. I said I wasn't gonna cry on the motherfucking internet, bro. Because people who cry on the internet, you think it's from sympathy. Some tweet somebody said. Who said that? It was on the Shade Room. But I'm just, when you talk about your accomplishments, and you look back and you're like, holy shit, like, everything has led me to this point. So, it's your girl Bianca B. Bye, guys.